The old Quilly is back, y'all. Quilly is back, steamrolling over all these other Philly rappers. Today, we're going to go over it. Quilly throwing shots at Meek Mill, throwing shots at Garci, throwing shots at OT7 Quanny, y'all. The old Quilly is back, and we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it all today, but y'all know what to do when you're stepping in here. Hit that like button, smash that like button, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what city and state you're representing. We got some real Philly news to cover right now because Quilly's just been on a tirade on his Instagram page. He actually posted up, he was going back and forth with OT7 Quanny, but he also posted up old video of Meek Mill when these kids, I guess, you would think they were videographers, but they're just actually fans of Meek Mill. These 16, 17-year-old Meek Mill dream chaser fans. You know what I'm saying? They've been fans of Meek Mill since they were like 8 and 9 years old growing up. So they run up on Meek, and Meek's like, yo, whoa, you need to watch how you approach. He was on some weird shit, like some you need to watch how you approach us type. Like we're active out here if we notice somebody running up on us. You know, it's like, come on, man. These are your fans, man. So Quilly actually posted, he said, bro, we are 40 years old. Our kids is 16 and 17. What the F are you talking about? We real street dudes. Dude, I'm a father. I'm a Muslim man. Look how this dude sound at 40 years old. This is y'all king? Quilly is calling out Meek Mill for this reaction that he had to the fans. Meek Mill has got this before. Didn't some kids run up on him trying to sell him bottled water, and he was getting offended by some little kids trying to make a hustle, trying to make $1? You know what I'm saying? Trying to make $1 out of 15 cents, and Meek Mill is going to criticize them. He faced a lot of scrutiny for things like this, you guys. Quilly also said, notice how when I talk about cuz, I tag Garci every time. When you become a D-eater as such, this is how I view you. Garci gets tagged in anything I mention cuz. He's gonna jump out the jet for him. Why not give him the little attention he always wanted? Clapper. So Quilly is actually saying that Ape Gang Garci hangs around Meek Mill to get the attention. You know what I'm saying? So this is why he's going to mention him in every post. And it was kind of crazy. Quilly also posted a video of Milli Vanilli. You know what I mean? And you know those that crappy group Milli Vanilli, who was like somebody else was singing for them, and then they actually came back and tried to drop their own album. It was a duo. So Meek Mill actually tagged Garci and Meek Mill in that post and said that this is what these two guys are. They're the Milli Vanilli, which, I mean, it's a diss. You know what I mean? Quilly's just going wild on these guys right now. He's dissed Meek Mill over the years. Personally, I think Meek Mill should have signed up all this talent. You know what I mean? He has Garci alongside him now. Garci is managing talent. Meek Mill should have signed all of these younger artists in Philly. But I mean, people miss opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Soldier Boy missed the opportunity to sign Quavo and whoever else was at his crib back in the day. Gucci Man missed the opportunity to really sign the Migos and really sign Scooter and really have all these guys up under him, has one of the biggest labels, Young Thug and all that, Future. But they don't take the opportunity when it's right there in front of them. One of the biggest signings I ever knew from the streets coming up was Jim Jones actually working with Max B and French Montana. That was going to be the hottest label, Bird Gang. But I got to give respect to Jim Jones because he's got it back right now with Keen Streets and Dice Peso. They are working. But Meek Mill and Quilly, this is nothing new, you guys. This is nothing new. These two guys have been going back and forth for a number of years. I want to say they were going at it before Meek Mill even attained the fame. Before Meek Mill even attained the fame, these guys were going at it. But Quilly is just looking at this post now, talking about we're 40 years old, our kids in 16 and 17. What are you talking about? We real street dudes. Quilly calling him out over that portion. Something else I want to go over is actually Quilly going off on OT7 Quanny. Let's see if I got it here. Quilly was actually calling him out for being from New Jersey. Quilly was saying naughty by nature. He was saying Joe Budden. He said, this dude is naughty by nature. This dude, Joe Budden. All the Jersey rappers. Who am I missing? So OT7 Quanny had to respond to this because the guy's calling him out about not being from Philly, which a lot of rappers get called out for not being from Philly if they're trying to represent Philly. So OT7 Quanny actually responded in a pretty interesting way. He said, so nobody ever got in trouble and mom said, I'm going to send you with your dad for the summer, or I'm going to send you with your dad for the year. Bro, I'll be the first to tell y'all, ain't no secret. I lived out there for a school year because I kept getting in trouble. It was a court order. I ain't got nothing to hide, gang. I got the same friends since I was a baby. Then he said, some dude named NR Boot 7, been my friend my whole life. So let's take a look at this. At first, OT7 Quanny said, haven't y'all ever got in trouble with your mom and she sent you with your dad for the summer? Or she's going to send you with your dad for the year. So at first, Quanny is saying that his mom sent his dad for his mom sent him with his dad for the summer, which is obviously a typical thing. We've all seen that. You know what I mean? I have a situation like that as well. I was too rowdy living with my mom. My brothers always fighting with my brothers. I was too rowdy, so she sent me to go live with my dad. My dad actually happened to live in a better spot than my mom lived. You know what I'm saying? But now, come the end of this paragraph that OT7 Quanny posted replying, he said, I kept getting in trouble. It was a court order. He's saying something a little bit different now. He's saying it was a court order. At first, he's saying it was his mom. But if we're going to look at the situation in comparison to mine, I was getting in family fights. I was getting in fights in the neighborhood. There was no police involvement with that. It was my mom who just couldn't handle how rowdy I was getting, and she thought, and my grandparents thought, I was about to go to the next level. And we're talking when I'm only like 10, 11 years old. So they had to get me up out of there. OT7 Quanny, his situation could be a little different. Who knows? Maybe the police were bringing him home too much. Maybe he would go out and the police would bring him back home. And then his mom was like, oh, this is too much. This is too much. I can't have this. You're going to go live with your father. You're going out. You're not just going out there for the summer this time. It happens again. You're going out there for the whole school year. But OT7 Quanny is owning this. He's owning the fact that he is has actually lived in Jersey for a portion of his life, but it still doesn't take him away from wanting to represent Philly, as naturally it shouldn't. You know what I mean? Philly to me is one of the meccas of hip hop. OT7 Quanny had about one issue though, I would say, when he responded here. When basically he responded to the backlash that he's faced since his fame. Quanny said, everybody in these comments in my DMs trying to get either a verse or get me to wear they brand or some type of promo, they're mad that I didn't do it. That's all. Literally, everybody talking about me was a fan turned sour because I didn't do something they want, or they couldn't afford it. But this ain't no secret. If y'all was smart, y'all see me in the one posted the pick gang. I'm the one that posted the pick, gang. If I had something to hide, you think I posted myself? Be real, gang. Yep, and then OT7 Quanny goes on to say it was a court order, gang. It's public to the world on paper. Ain't nothing to hide. I got in some trouble and had to move with my dad for a year. Ain't nothing biggie, gang. Okay. All right, so that's a lot to unpack right there. First of all, I want to go over when OT7 Quanny was talking about everybody that was reaching out for a verse or people that were reaching out to have him wear their clothes or even people reaching out to do promos with him. He's talking about y'all didn't have enough money, or let me say interviews, podcasts. Y'all didn't have enough money. I was hot and y'all are sour. Yeah, this is one thing that's going to turn the fans against you when you attain a level of fame and then you just forget everybody else exists. You know what I'm saying? When you just forget everybody else exists after attaining the level of fame, people are going to fall back from you. They're going to see that you're not as authentic as they thought you were. You know what I mean? We've seen Quanny going back and forth with Duel. You know what I mean? Rest in peace, the Duel. And now he's going back and forth with Quilly. Yo, Quilly and Duel were a whole different level, man. You know, Duel was on his rise in the game, but Quilly is somebody who has cemented himself in the game with a core following. Quilly is not afraid to come on the internet and call you out any way that he can. Like as we see with him calling out Meek Mill for an old video of how Meek Mill treats his fans. Or as we see here, Quilly going back to let the world know I'm the one who told y'all he wasn't actually from Philly. But Quanny disputes those claims. He says, one thing I don't got is videos getting beat and chains took from me. I'm honorable stand-up dude. Y'all can play these games all y'all want. It's no win on the net. I'm winning in real life. Yeah, that's one thing Quanny's going to throw in Quilly's face. You know what I mean? That's one thing people will throw in their people's faces when they get jumped and beat up on camera. Those types of things thrown around on camera. Or as Black De Niro said in my case, you're rolling around with Mikey T. But you know, that's a whole thing. You could keep say that forever. You could say, "Oh, nobody's ever going to touch me on cam. No one's ever going to put their hands on me on cam." SMD, all that type of stuff. You can spew that all you want, but that's about how the position you put yourself in. You know what I mean? That's the position you put yourself in. That's the determination if you're going to go outside as frequently, if you're going to tuck your jewelry, if you're going to go to all the spots that you used to go when you were younger, or if you're just going to block everybody off and treat them like they don't exist. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to block everybody off and treat them like they don't exist, then you probably don't have much to worry about. But if you're going to continue going outside and you're going to continue being around the people that you've been around for the past 10 years, you know what I mean? Something might end up happening. You know what I mean? You're not untouchable in this world. You know what I'm saying? And you can't think like that, because the moment you start thinking like that is the moment that you lost, because there's no difference between me and you. You know what I mean? There's no difference of what can happen out there, but there's a lot of people who take themselves out of the equation. You know, I never took myself out of the equation. I've been traveling for my interviews the whole time. But there was one other major part that I wanted to bring up. One other major part. Quilly had wrote, he really started panicking in my comments because somebody had commented to Quilly. Quilly got this dude writing a self bio. Quilly's got this dude writing a self bio under the pick. Because Quilly actually, I guess maybe Quilly was responding to a post of OT7 Quanny, maybe in some football gear, playing for a Jersey team. And Quilly responded, he started panicking in my comments. My heart really needs a PR. Like, where is his team? Oh, I get it. Quilly's joking around, calling him my heart. He's called, because that's what everybody says. They're like, my heart, my heart. He says, my heart really needs a PR. Like, where is his team? Where is your team? Where is your team, OT7 Quanny? Let's be real. If you're as lit as you claim to be, you shouldn't even be responding to somebody. You know what I mean? You shouldn't even be responding to somebody unless it's Meek Mill. You shouldn't be responding to somebody unless it's somebody at a higher level. If you're so much above Quilly, right? You should not be responding. But you're giving Quilly the alley-oop here, in your opinion, because you're doing all these videos with all the money. So Quilly's asking, like, where's his team? He wrote me 2 Milianos, a journal entry, and 2 essays. Somebody tell that bull to get off the internet and go offer ASR in right now. I don't know what the ASR means, but somebody tell that bull, get off the internet. Get off the internet and go make some of that cash you've been talking about, man. But you're giving Quilly the alley-oop. I'm going to cover this again because Quilly is just exposing so much. I'm going to save the next piece for another story. I wanted to go over a little bit of the back and forth about Philly at this point in time. You know what I mean? It looks like Quanny might have played football in Jersey. And oh man, you played football in Jersey and you claim Philly. Oh man, where they do that at, man? They don't do that in Philly. EAGLES. They don't do that in Philly. You know what I'm saying? Did I spell that wrong? But yeah, nah, man. We'll see what happens next. I don't know if this is going to go to diss tracks. Apparently, Quilly has a whole podcast. Quilly, let me know what's good with this on your podcast. I guess we'll all have to check in with OT7 Quanny's Instagram to see what's going on with it. You know, Quanny will probably downplay it and just get to the bag. Quilly starting up a podcast. I find that to be interesting, though. And he's stirring up a lot. He's stirring up a lot of trouble. No offense, Quill. You're stirring up a lot of trouble on the internet right now, but Quilly's going to be the one to back it up. You know, he's got a mind. Quilly's a free thinker. Let the dude say what he wants to say. We've been waiting to hear what Quilly has got to say for a number of years. And it was good to hear Quanny finally explain it as well. You know, everybody calling him out. Yo, you're not really from Philly. Quanny explained it pretty good, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Me having faced a similar situation to that, although it was all inside of Connecticut, you know, I could really see because Philly and Jersey are pretty close together. People that are in Philly are always in Jersey, so it really wouldn't be that odd. You know what I mean? But when you start doing things like start wearing school colors, you know what I mean? Start playing against your old school. You know what I mean? Say that happened. I'm just speculating here. But when you start doing things like that, you go against Philly, and then you come back to claim Philly. I don't know. Philly doesn't really like that, man. And obvious because Quilly's been trying to point it out for a number of years. And in one of his other posts, he said, finally, y'all believe me. Finally. I mean, we'll see what happens with it, man. We'll see what happens with it. I'm gonna stay in tune with it because, like I said, we got another crazy story coming up about this. So I need y'all to hit that like button. If y'all just tapping in now, hit that like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what city and state you're from. Stay in tune with Mikey T, the movie star. And if you want to follow on Instagram, it's Mikey T _ the movie star. I'm out of here. Peace out to y'all.